Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. As usual, it's me, Ivan, and in today's video I'll be showing you 3 titanium watches that I find extremely cool. From left to right, you're looking at a Seiko Astron, a Citizen Attesa, and a Casio G-Shock MRG. There are quite a few things that make these pieces special, so if you've never come across any of these before, I suggest you stay around for a few minutes. Before we start, let me just say that I borrowed the Seiko and the Citizen from my AD, Relojeria Esparza, here in Valencia, Spain, while the MRG is my own. As always, you can find all the information related to prices and availability in the description of this video. Straight away guys, what I love the most about these 3 watches is the design. They all look very sharp, very aggressive and a bit futuristic, especially the Seiko. And then at the same time I also find them a bit elegant. In addition, their build quality is excellent and the finishing is exceptional as well. On the wrist, these models have a lot of wrist presence, as you'll see throughout the video, and despite their oversized dimensions, all 3 wear exceptionally well. Starting with the Astron, it's the most compact of all. The case diameter of this one is 42.7 mm, the lug to lug is 48, and the thickness is just 12.2 mm. And since the whole watch is made of titanium, just like the other 2, it's very light and it weighs only 105 grams unsized. Here it is on my 17 centimeters or 6.7 inch wrist. And guys, I'm sure most of you will agree that it looks absolutely fantastic. In fact, in my opinion, on the wrist, it is the best looking watch out of the 3. And believe me, this is very hard for me to say, as my MRG is one of my favorite watches in my collection. Moving on to the Atessa, it's about 2 mm bigger than the Astron in every single way. It has a case diameter of 44.5 mm. The lug to lug is 50 and the thickness is 15.4 mm due to the double domed sapphire crystal. When it comes to the weight, unsized it's 111 grams, and on my wrist it also looks very nice as well. By the way, this is one of the latest Atessa releases. It's a limited edition called The Power of Neptune, and it really looks great in this blue and gold color combination. Before I show you the MRG, here is a quick look of the Astron and the Atessa side by side, so that you can easily see those dimensions differences that we've just mentioned. I find both watches to be very wearable, and as long as your wrist span is 50 mm, you won't have any wearability issues with neither of them. I don't know how helpful you'll find this comparison, but here is the Astron next to my Tudor Black Bay. At a first glance, there isn't much of a difference between the 2. The Astron is slightly larger, but the lug to lug is about the same. And then the Astron is thinner and 60 grams lighter, so the wearing experience is obviously completely different. The Atessa, on the other hand, while also significantly lighter than the Black Bay, it wears quite a bit bigger, but that's to be expected since it has larger dimensions overall. It's even thicker than the Tudor, so keep that in mind if you prefer thinner watches. Next, let's have a word about the MRG's dimensions as well. Guys, I must admit this Casio is definitely the odd one out. Ideally, I would have made this video comparison with a Casio Oceanus, but I don't have access to those. I do want one, so hopefully I'll do something about it in the future. Anyways, the MRG is quite a beast, design and dimensions wise, which is actually something that I really like about it. The case diameter is 44 mm at its narrowest, but it does appear bigger due to all these buttons and oversized crown. The thickness is 16.9 mm and the lug to lug is 54. But as I said in my full review of this watch, the bracelets and links articulate very nicely, and so it can be comfortably worn on an average size wrist like mine. It's a bit heavier than the Astron and the Atessa, 144 grams, but once again, it's much more wearable than you would expect. Alright guys, now I would like to tell you what I like and what I don't like about each one of these watches, just in case you are in the unlikely situation of having to choose one out of the three. When it comes to the Astron, it is the most compact and it looks the classiest in my opinion. In addition, if we have a closer look at the dial, you'll see that the level of finishing is just better when compared to the other two. The handset, the indices, and basically the whole dial has been perfectly executed, and there are literally no imperfections at all. On the other hand, the Astron is the most expensive watch here, €2,400 retail, but at the same time it has the least features. There is no countdown timer, no alarm, and not even a stopwatch, although the design resembles a chronograph. The features that you get with the Astron are strictly related to timekeeping, GPS time syncing, dual time, day date, and so on. In my case, that's not much of a deal breaker. In fact, I have all these missing features on my MRG, and guess what? I haven't used them even once. However, if you use your watch for more than just telling the time, this specific Astron might not be the best choice for you. Next, here are my thoughts about the Atessa. It's definitely the best value for money in this comparison. In Spain it retails for €1,950, and on top of that you can typically get a very generous discount to make the price even more attractive. Speaking of attractiveness, the blue-gold combination works really great, as I mentioned earlier, and I especially like the blue sapphire bezel insert. When it comes to features, this model has the same features as the Astron, plus a stopwatch and an alarm. However, using those features is not very intuitive, and you definitely need to check the manual. Once you get used to it, you'll be fine. I'm just saying that there is a little bit of a learning curve here. Now let's move on to the MRG G1000. As many of you know, I'm a huge G-Shock fan and I simply love this model as it looks phenomenal in my opinion. It took me a couple of years to purchase it, and all I can say is that it was absolutely worth it. Every time I wear it, I just can't stop looking at it, and to me this is one of the best G-Shocks ever made, and yeah, my opinion is 100% biased. Features-wise, this one has everything a regular G-Shock has, and besides having GPS timekeeping, this model is also multi-band 6 radio controlled. On the downside, there is just one thing that could be better, and I just realized it while making this video. What I'm talking about is the sapphire crystal. It simply isn't as clear as the ones on the Astron and the Atessa. But what's even worse about this MRG is that it's been long discontinued and you may not be able to find one. Finally guys, here are some additional notes that might be of interest of yours. Both the Astron and the Atessa feature on-the-fly clasps, which unfortunately I didn't take any footage of, but they're very easy to use. All you need to do is push the two release buttons on the clasp simultaneously. Here I'd also like to add that both watches have been treated with a transparent hardened coating to protect them against scratches, while my MRG hasn't. Next, the Astron and the Citizen's lume is very good. It's surprisingly bright and long-lasting. From my limited testing, I would say that in the dark, both watches perform the same. On the other hand, the MRG's lume is pretty bad, but fortunately, in addition to it, the MRG counts with a backlight, which does a great job at illuminating the dial. Last but not least, I want to mention that all three watches are quartz solar powered, and when it comes to duration and power saving, the Atessa takes the crown here. On a full charge, without exposure to light, it will work for a year and a half, while in power saving mode, it can last up to 5 years. Yes, you heard that well, 5 years in standby. Then the Seiko offers 6 months of operation on a full charge, and up to 2 years with energy saving. Finally, the MRG offers similar performance, 7 months of regular use, and a year and a half when in power saving mode. There you have it everyone, I think I covered pretty much all the basics here. Let me know what you think about these watches in the comments below. I'm especially interested in hearing those people's opinions, that have never considered owning any of these higher-end quartz watches. So yeah, make sure you leave a comment. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you're new, consider subscribing. And if you want to see some more cool watches, check one of these two choices. As always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.